The Zoleth were a warrior species, towering reptilian bipeds with skin like iron plates. They had fought and dominated species across dozens of star systems, their reign unchallenged. When the Galactic Council insisted on a treaty with a primitive planet called Earth, the Zoleth couldn't help but laugh. Humans? Fragile little bipeds from a watery world. General Kthark scoffed during the council meeting. Their skeletal structures would snap under our gravity, and their weaponry is laughably underpowered. He wasn't alone. The rest of the Zoleth delegation snickered at the thought of these so-called humans as anything but cannon fodder. Their entire civilization revolved around the oceans of their home planet, weak and watery just like them. Months later, as part of a diplomatic exchange, a small Zoleth fleet entered Earth's orbit. The humans had warned them that the oceans were dangerous, teeming with life far beyond their understanding. But the Zoleth ignored the warnings. They dismissed Earth's ecosystems as insignificant compared to their own experience with death worlds. Day 1. The descent. Kthark stood at the helm of his ship, gazing down at the endless blue of Earth's oceans. Weak, he muttered again, sending out an exploration pod toward the waters. They can't even dominate their own seas. Their plan was simple: capture a few specimens from Earth's oceans, show them off as trophies, and mock the humans further. But the moment the first pod touched down, it vanished. No distress signal, no trace. Must be a malfunction, Kthark growled. Another pod was sent. This time, a brief signal came through, a chilling scream followed by static. Kthark clenched his jaw. He sent a third. It, too, disappeared. Suddenly, their sensors picked up something massive moving beneath the waves. Something fast. "We have a breach," shouted the crew. Alarms blared as the hull was struck by an unseen force. The entire ship shuddered. From below, "Impossible," Kthark roared. "What cooled?" Another impact. This time, the sensors briefly captured an image of something enormous, long, muscular, with rows of razor-sharp teeth. A leviathan. Day 3. The ambush. By now, Kthark and his crew were in full lockdown. They had retracted their exploration attempts and kept the fleet hovering just above the planet's atmosphere. But something was wrong. Their ships were suffering strange malfunctions. Systems going offline, navigation becoming unresponsive. No matter how much they tried, they couldn't leave Earth's gravitational pull. One of their destroyers, the Vorthak, received the worst of it. Out of nowhere, the ocean itself seemed to rise, forming massive whirlpools and crashing waves. As the ship hovered above, suddenly tendrils, yes, tendrils of water, shot up and wrapped around the destroyer, dragging it down with a force that defied the laws of physics. The crew aboard the Vorthak barely had time to react before a tentacled creature the size of a small city appeared. Its dark, beady eyes reflected the fear of the Zoleth crew as it tore through the hull like tissue paper. Kthark watched the entire event on the fleet's monitors, his scales twitching with disbelief. This is sorcery. No creature should have such power. But humans, it turned out, didn't just live on a death world. They lived above it, surviving in the small spaces where the planet permitted them to exist. Day 5. The hunt. The Zoleth fleet had gone silent. Ships lost communication one by one, each disappearing into the abyss without a trace. Those that survived sent only frantic transmissions filled with strange noises, screeching, roaring, splashing, like the howls of predators far worse than anything the Zoleth had ever faced. And then it came. The final message from the last surviving Zoleth ship. "They're hunting us," the voice crackled. "The oceans, they're alive." General Kthark himself saw it with his own eyes. His warship was surrounded by schools of gigantic armored fish that launched themselves at the vessel with shocking force. The Zoleth's advanced weaponry barely scratched their scales. From above, a massive bird swooped down, talons raking the exterior, damaging systems with surgical precision. Below, monstrous squids, sharks the size of cities, and swarms of vicious creatures that defied all classification surged upward. "They've awakened something in the waters," whispered Cathark. "We underestimated them. Their planet, it protects them." As his ship started sinking, Cathark felt the pull of Earth's gravity take hold. His final act was to send a warning back to the Zoleth homeworld. "Do not return to Earth. It is a death world unlike any other. The oceans are worse than anything we have faced. Leave it to the humans. They've somehow tamed it." His final transmission was a gurgle of water as the oceans of Earth swallowed the last Zoleth invader whole. Back on Earth, human scientists monitored the depths, noting the unusual behavior of the ocean's creatures. They smiled knowingly, for humanity had long known the truth. The oceans were vast, ancient, and untamable. But when threatened, they had a way of responding. And now, the aliens who once mocked them had learned the hard way. Earth's greatest weapon wasn't its people, it was the planet itself.